This is what butter used to be, and it's gonna be the most amazing and healthiest butter you could ever eat. Today I'm taking some raw cream from Miller's Bio Farm and I'm turning it into a beautiful butter, but not just any butter. We're gonna do a cultured butter for flavor and gut bacteria benefits, all sorts of things that are going to blow your mind with just how good butter can be. This is the continuation of the dairy series here on Chris Cookin' Nashville with Miller's Bio Farm, and I'm really excited about this one because my heritage is French, and if there's anyone out there that loves butter, it is a Frenchman. Let's go ahead and take some of this amazing raw cream I have today and culture it, and I'm gonna show you how to very simply make perhaps the best butter you've ever had in your life in a very simple way. Today, on Chris Cookin' Nashville. Today's modern butter that you get in the grocery store is dead. It is pasteurized. It is sometimes filled with junk that we don't really want. Higher water content and cheaper ingredients than what butter used to be made out of, so the flavor and the health benefits are significantly reduced. However, if you get some really good fresh cream like this, you can go to Miller's Bio Farm, which is linked in the description box, or if you have a local dairy, you can make the most incredible and healthy butter you've ever had. And I know a lot of people have their own views and opinions on raw cream. Some people love raw dairy, some people don't. I personally am choosing to use it. I'm not telling you that you have to. You need to make your own decision and decide if that's something you would like to use in your own life. I'm not too worried about it because of humans eating raw dairy for thousands of years, so I'm gonna go ahead and use the raw dairy. This is a pretty simple one, but I'm gonna link everything below you're gonna need. Let's go ahead and take a quart of this cream that I have, and we're gonna make some amazing cultured raw butter, and we're gonna blow your mind. To make this cultured butter, things honestly could not be more simple. So I have a quart of this beautiful cream, which is raw, but again, you can use your own pasteurized dairy if you would like. So we're gonna use some of the mesophilic culture, which is the same thing that we used to make the cream cheese earlier in this series. We're going to be using less of it though. So the only thing we're going to need is cream, some mesophilic culture. We'll add salt to our butter if we choose to afterwards. All we need to do is pour this cream into a bowl. I recommend you use glass or something that is coated like that. You could use stainless steel. You do not want something reactive like aluminum or some of those other weird metals. We're gonna pour the cream in. We're going to add our mesophilic culture. We're going to let it hydrate for 1 to 2 minutes, and then we're going to thoroughly stir it through the cream. We're going to leave this sit at room temperature, and then we can chill it down and turn it into butter tomorrow. So all of the amounts are on the recipe card, which is linked in the description box, the page on my website there for all the recipe cards, so you can go and get exactly the instructions of how to do this. Then we can go ahead and turn this into butter tomorrow. Now, when we go to do that, you are going to get all this liquid that comes off. That is buttermilk. When you go to the store and you buy buttermilk, that's not buttermilk most of the time. That is fake buttermilk. It usually comes from skim milk that they then process, and they do a bunch of weird stuff. Stick around because later in this series, I'm going to show you how to use that buttermilk for some stuff, including how to make a beautiful buttermilk and spreadable butter mayo ranch dressing using my butter mayo. Let's go ahead and get this culturing. We're going to set it off to the side, and we'll be back to check on it tomorrow. All right, y'all, after the culturing and the whipping, this is the taste test. We're going to see if this is really worth doing. So I did not show you guys, but I actually did culture some whipping cream that I just bought at the store as well, so we can compare how the store-bought whipping cream tastes with the amazing cream that we got from Miller's Biofarm. And I actually have some store-bought butter here, which also is not cultured and is made out of whatever cheap cream they're using to make that. I've also sprinkled a little bit of kosher salt, enhance the flavor a little bit since we're eating straight butter.
I'm not mad though about eating straight butter. They all have different colors. That's interesting to see. I usually just, we of course buy the store-bought butter, so.
Yeah, this one is almost translucent and pale looking.
Yes.
This one is a creamier off-white color, and then this one is a much more yellow, intense color. So it's very interesting, the difference. I love butter.
I do too. Very smooth, tastes like butter. Okay. This one I like more. This is a richer, bolder flavor.
Very creamy and rich.
Yes. This has a way better flavor. Our little yellow friend over here. That has, I think, probably the most flavor.
Almost tastes like cheese a little bit.
That by far is like the richest, boldest flavor.
This has a firmer texture to it as well.
I think they're all really good. I think that this is probably like the best, boldest flavor. If you're looking for something that's really fatty, really rich, that one.
I'm curious, go back to this one.
Okay.
And taste it now that we've had this one here.
Okay.
Since we said this one was kind of just smooth to the beginning.
It don't compare. That now tastes really gross and bland compared.
It has no flavor.
Yeah.
It's almost watery.
It is. If I go back to this one, this is a big jump. And then back to this one. Oh yeah.
This one is a significantly intense jump up in the butter flavor compared to this. This one, I think the butter flavor is actually the exact same. This just has additional flavor along with it. This texture-wise is right in the middle. This feels almost watery in texture to me now. And this is very firm, which I think is part of where I'm getting that cheesy vibe.
This yellow one on the far end is definitely more of a different texture, like more of like a cheese.
Yeah.
It's just a lot thicker.
So what do you think they are?
I think that this is just the normal store-bought butter. This is probably just the kind that you made out of the stuff we had here at the house, the cream and all that. This, on the far end, the dark yellow one, there is an aftertaste. I think that is made with the stuff from Miller's Biofarm.
You're exactly right. So cheap store-bought butter, it's fine, it works. It just has basically no flavor. And usually store-bought butter has a higher water content. It tends to just have less flavor to it. The one in the middle, it's just cheap store-bought cream. So it's really good proof. You guys can go and you can get the cheapest, junkiest cream that is out there, and you can culture it and whip it and turn it into butter exactly like I did with the Miller's Biofarm, but you get a superior product. Making it yourself and culturing it makes a huge difference. Like, absolutely incredible. The Miller's Biofarm is definitely fantastic, and you can really taste the grass-fed when cultured like that. Almost starts to taste like hard cheese, Parmesan rind or Romano or something aged like that.
So I take, pats of butter off of the stick here at the house all the time. That's how I knew this first one. This is store-bought butter. I know that tastes very well. Incredible though, the difference with just the cream and stuff we had here at the house that you made that butter. I would prefer to eat this every day. I'm thinking like, what about like your 90-second bread?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what about like butter on a steak, butter on this? What gave the Miller's Biofarm away for me, it was the color. I grew up in Bakersfield. We have a lot of cows. I'm like, that looks it, but it's that grass-fed, a little bit of an aftertaste that I got where I was like, oh, that's the good stuff.
Yeah. I think if what you want is a very strong flavor of that rich grass-fed butter flavor, almost cheese kind of thing, using a high-quality cream like Miller's Biofarm, culturing it, and making butter out of it this way is exactly what you're looking for. If you want to just kind of off the cuff make something that's going to really increase the quality of the butter you're using without necessarily being all the way to like the raw dairy and all this kind of stuff. You can totally just get the cheap cream at the store and culture it. It is very clear the difference that this incredible raw grass-fed dairy makes. For me personally, if I was cooking with the butter, like I was mixing it into a sauce or something, I would probably actually get this stuff. One, it's gonna be a little bit cheaper. Two, I just have access to it so quickly. And three, a lot of it's going to get blended in. So if I'm not considering health benefit, if I'm just looking at flavor, I would make the cultured butter. It is still worth it, I think, but I would make it with just the local cream down at the corner. And then if I'm putting it like on bread, or I'm gonna melt it on a steak or something where the butter is really gonna punch through, it would be worth it for me to pay the extra money and have something like the Miller's Biofarm cream shipped in.
Yes.
Because it's incredible. Now that's not in any way saying that I prefer this cream over the Miller's Biofarm. The Miller's Biofarm is by far the best, but if I didn't have any on hand, or especially if I'm like, I'm gonna blend it into something and I'm not worried about the raw dairy benefit, like health benefit of that, I would be okay using the stuff from the local store. That's so good.
This has been very educational. It also did not take you very much time at all to make this. I don't really know what's in this watery butter from the store, do I?
What's interesting to me about that, since you say that, I worked really hard to get as much water out of these two butters as I can, because it makes it last a lot longer in the fridge. It helps preserve it. The fat's not gonna go bad, but the water holding on to some of the sugars and the different things in the way, like the lactose, that still being in the butter can absolutely go bad. That's why when you make butter, you have to get all of that extra water out. So it makes me sit here and go, well, just using my hands, I'm able to get both of these butters much firmer and drier in texture than the store-bought butter. Are they adding that water back somehow to stretch the butter? I'm not sure what it is, but you can taste a huge difference in store-bought butter and even just butter that is made with cream that I bought at the same store.
You know, I'm thinking of like your Bermonte butter sauce, which I'll make him link that video down below for you. I would get Miller's Biofarm, make the butter, and then do the Bermonte. Oh,
anything
that would be amazing.
That is highlighting the butter. This, when we buy just cheap butter at the store, this is about $5, $5 to $6 a pound. If you make it yourself, it's probably gonna come out to about $7 to $8 a pound. So it's a little more, it's like $1 or $2 difference. If you make it with the Miller's Biofarm milk, it's definitely going to be a little bit more price-wise, because the flavor and the health properties are both superior, especially if you're doing something like the Bermonte or any of the butter sauce type stuff where butter is the highlighted flavor, or especially if you're gonna like spread it on a 90-second carnivore bread and do like butter and toast. I mean, you're gonna taste every last bit of that high quality butter.
Also, you know, I know a lot of people do BBBE, beef butter, bacon and eggs, and we've done that from time to time as like a reset or, you know, just something that we have done. When you have such a limited diet, right, of beef, butter, bacon and eggs, and you're just kind of eating the same stuff or whatever, it's like, okay. So if my butter though on BBBE tasted like that, I would be very happy. And even if I couldn't swing it, that would be a better alternative. Maybe that will help you stay on track with it a little longer.
Yeah, I totally agree. And here's the deal. So I have buttermilk, real homemade cultured buttermilk from both of these butters. And we are going to use that buttermilk for a number of different things, one of which will be in the upcoming episode of this dairy series. I'm going to make my butter mayo, which maybe I'll culture some butter and make a cultured butter mayo.
I like it.
And then actually use the buttermilk from that cultured butter, and I'm gonna turn it into a buttermilk ranch dressing. We're gonna make that, and we're gonna see how it compares to the ranch that I have been making with the store-bought butter for a very long time. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Miller's Biofarm is linked down below, so you can go and get cream and milk and all of the various dairies you would like to use, so you can follow along with this dairy series. If you haven't seen any of the other videos in this dairy series, I'm gonna put those in the description box as well, and every time we release another one, I'll go ahead and drop that link in there so you can go watch the whole series of what can you do with 1 gallon of raw dairy from Miller's Biofarm, so you can stretch it and get as much wonderful quality stuff out of your purchase from Miller's Biofarm. All of the other links you'll need are going to be down below, including the recipe card, which is explaining this whole process, the amounts, everything on it, links for the mesophilic culture that I used, everything, so you can go replicate this at home exactly like I did. We appreciate you guys watching. This is Chris Cook in Nashville. My beautiful wife, Ash Taylor. You guys eat your meat, especially if it has some cultured butter on it. Love your life. We'll see you here in the kitchen for a bunch of crazy recipes. And if you're liking this dairy series we're doing, you gotta go check out this video right over here.
Am I fired?
No, you're okay.
Okay. The fat is where it's at.